No, I'm not leaving home. I've got something really good in here to look at. We're going to have a look at it today. This is a newer stabiliser. They call it a stabiliser, or it's the other name for it, of course, is a gimbal. And it comes in this nice handy carry case because it's quite weighty. It comes with a set of weights. And basically, it's a balancer where you put your camera on the top of it, up here. You hold it here, and this thing can swivel as much as it likes, but it keeps everything nice and stable. This is a carbon fibre version, so it's a little bit lighter. So this bar is made of carbon fibre, this is metal, this is metal. I've already attached my GoPro to the plate, which is quite large, and it fixes to the top. And what you have to do is get this set up and balance it on the top here so that everything stays perpendicular. And once you've got that, you've got stability, you can go around taking pictures, and of course it won't swing like that if you've got a bit of weight on top. It comes with 3 weights. For this I only need 1. Basically, in order to calculate this weight, it's a good idea to weigh your camera, and if you weigh it, get the weight to be about 2/3 of the weight of the camera, and you're roughly about the right place. So you screw the weights that you choose here, down here. There's your weighting. This will move down to create more weight if you want, or change the centre of balance. The plate itself goes into the top here, and you tighten down, balance up, and away you go. So we're going to have a look at this. You get a set of 6 weights. You should put 3 either side, 2 either side, or 1 either side to balance. And I adjusted mine so that it was 2/3 of the weight of my camera at the top. There's adjustments, so there's one that's just there, and that's to pull the pole up and down to adjust the centre of gravity. This has a carbon fibre pole, and at the top here there's the gimbal itself. Really very, very smooth. This is nice quality, very nice quality, quite like that. At the top here is the adjustment. Can be tricky with this plate in the way, but you pull that out and put it in a different position to turn, pull it out again, and it goes back to another position. So you can do it. I tend to adjust this myself into a virtual central position, both left and right and back and forward, and then put this ball and socket on the top, and then moving this around gives me that final tiny little bit of tweak that allows me to get the thing as straight as possible, or if I want it to face up and down, I can literally just angle it like that, and the camera will face up or down because the whole thing will change its angle. So I think really having a ball and socket on the top really helps to balance this thing out and get it absolutely right without all the fiddling. In order for this thing to work, it does need some weight at the top, the camera weight at the top, to balance the weights at the bottom. So to create a little bit more weight, because the GoPro is a little bit light, I've put a ball and socket joint here, which actually turns out to be a godsend when you come to balancing, because you can do really fine adjustments at the top here with this ball and socket. So what I've got is the GoPro fitted to a plate. The plate goes into my ball and socket. The ball and socket has a plate which goes into the gimbal, and this actually doubles up as a handheld option as well, because you can hold it like this and you've got a handheld option for your GoPro, which is quite nice. This gimbal itself is quite weighty. It's another newer one. It's very, very good, very, very good indeed. I like it, solidly built, and it just adds that little bit of extra weight so that this gimbal can balance out much better. It doesn't balance with just a GoPro. You need something a little bit weightier. So I'm going to show you now how to balance this thing out. Before you do anything, what you must do is make sure that the camera is as it's going to be when it's going to be shooting. So take all the covers off and anything that you need, any filters, put them on, get everything as it should be when you're going to film. Calculate the weights to be 2/3 of the weight of this. When it's 2/3 of the weight of this, it's about right. This plate then fixes on the top. And what I do is I line it up with the top here, screw it down so that all the screws are lining up on the side, and just get the camera roughly straight. So if I get this roughly straight now, all the the knobs there are in line and the camera's virtually straight. Once you've got it there, try to get a rough balance so that it's standing upright. Now in my case, it's leaning slightly forward. Now this is where the gimbal can come in handy as well. Where not the gimbal, the ball and socket joint, because what you can do to fix that is to undo the ball and socket and just lean the camera back a bit. And if you lean the camera back a bit, you'll find it suddenly, oh, I've gone too far. So just take it off again, lean the camera forward. And basically, you can balance this out pretty fast, I think. I've seen videos where it's been, that's leaning over slightly to the left. So what I'm going to do is undo it and just lean the camera slightly to the right. So in other words, once I've got a rough balance of the camera, I'm using the ball and socket to finalise where the camera's going to be to get that upright. And there you have it, it's balanced. It took me that long. Once you get this weight right, 2/3 of the weight of the setup up there, and you're about right, and then you can move this thing up and down in order to get the swing right. So if I just count this now, 1, 2, 3, that's about right. So that's going to be nice and stable. Now the thing is does it work? So all in the cause of scientific research, I'm now going to take a walk with this gimbal and my GoPro, and I'm going to go down the steps here from my decking and come back up. And all I can say is if I have an accident and fall over, please don't laugh, just watch the footage. It should be smooth, okay? So I know I'm going to take a little walk. I'll take my microphone off and I'm going to take a walk down the decking. Wish me good luck. Here we go. Another thing you can do with a gimbal is you can take static objects, for instance, and make them move by basically smoothly gliding up to them and making it look a bit more interesting if it's really static. And so I'm going to do a shot now of a palm in a pot. Okay, so here we go. Microphone off. Okay, for my next death-defying stunt, I'm now going to walk up and down the stairs. I will have to adjust the angle of this, as you'll see with the ball and socket as I come down, but it'll work. Here we go. If I fall, please don't laugh. Microphone off, here we go. So to finish off, I think these gimbals are actually very handy to have. I don't think I would carry one around with me all of the time because they are actually quite weighty. They can be quite weighty to carry around. This is a carbon fibre version, so this pole here, this post here is lighter than just the metal version. It's a little bit more expensive. I've seen lots of videos of how to adjust these things, and before I got this one, I thought it would be an enormous struggle to try and get it to balance. But in fact, it took me, when I first got it, about 5 minutes to find the correct position. I didn't want to bore you with all the sliding backwards and forwards on the video. It's dead easy. It's a doddle. It moves left and right, forwards and backwards, and that's all there is to it. But what I've done is I've put this ball and socket joint, again it's a newer one, on the top of my on the plate, so that I've got fine adjustment here at the top. And what this allows me to do is, if for instance the thing is facing forwards, now on the videos you've seen on YouTube, you will have seen people moving this plate backwards and forwards to get it to balance. Once I've got a basic balance when it's straight, I use this to very finely tune the balance of the camera. And that has another advantage, because what you can also do is, if you like, when you're going up the stairs, when I did my kamikaze trick, what you can do is you don't want the camera looking straight ahead. So to make it look down, instead of moving the plate, you move that plate there, the ball and joint, and then the thing will automatically tilt forward for you. And equally, if you want it to go up, you can do that and it'll tilt back for you. If it's off left or right, again, you just slightly tilt and you've got much finer control using a ball and socket on the top, and with that extra weight as well, I think it's actually a little bit more secure, to be honest. Also on top, my GoPro is there, and it's got a little forward and back adjustment which I can really finely tweak. So I can really tweak very finely the angle which the camera is looking at, and that makes it work really incredibly easily, and you don't have to worry about doing these things up once you've got that balance. And the way I've done it with mine is I've got the camera straight on there and I line these all up, and I know now roughly it's roughly in the right place. Get your weight right as well. Get this to be about 2/3 of the weight of that assembly, and you're about right. You get that 2 to 3 second drop, and then you can adjust this up and down. But as I say, once the plate is done, I'm leaving it there. It's much easier to just adjust adjust this ball and socket joint to get the angle, and to just adjust for slight off skew things. That's fine. It works incredibly well. It's very smooth. I was really surprised with how smooth it is actually. Very, very nice device. It works ever so well. Got a real surprise with this. Smooth as anything. The other advantage of this is, of course, if you're out and about and if you've got this ball and socket arrangement, you can use this as a chest stabilizer, as long as you don't breathe too much. You bend it back like that, and you can hold your camera. Well, actually, do it this way. What I do is I just turn it this way, like that way, lock it, and you can hold it really still like that. But if you breathe, you've got to be careful, so you can place it above, if you can, place it above your lungs, and you've got a nice support. Another thing you can do is just hold it like that for support, which is quite nice. Of course, you can use it as a mini monopod. So there are other uses for this, and again, with the ball and socket, you can just adjust wherever you want. It's easy. So I'm quite pleased with this actually. The weight is an issue. If I'm traveling around, I think carrying this kind of weight around might be an issue, but it's built well. It does do the job well. It's easy to set up, in spite of the videos you may have seen taking ages to get this thing exactly perpendicular right. Get out of that, put a ball and socket on, and it's going to work. It's going to balance. You can adjust this by millimeters. It's just nothing. So it's dead easy to get straight with that on the top. Really, I think they should put a ball and socket on the top of these devices. It does work, and it stops you fiddling around with the plate left and right, back and forward, as you've probably seen already on the internet if you're interested in these devices. I do think they're worth it if you want that really smooth footage. I really think they're effective, but it's for those special shots where you want something smooth. I don't think I would carry this around with me all day, and certainly if I did want to carry it around and use it as a monopod, I'd at least take those weights off so that I've got just the plate to rest on or use as a monopod, and that would be fine, or gain a little bit of extra height. It's a nice device, worth buying I think, but I wouldn't use it all the time merely just because of the weight, carrying this around, although they do give you a nice bag to walk around with. But if you're doing something where you want it to be beautifully smooth, it's ideal, absolutely ideal, and works a treat. If you're interested in getting one of these devices, they are effective, they work really well, quite heavy, but they work, they really do the job. They are $57.99 at the moment on Amazon, and I think really worth it. Cheers for now.